in 1940. As the Luftwaffe began its nightly campaign to turn London into a furnace, the city retreated underground. But for Charlotte, a librarian in the East End, the war wasn't just about survival. It was about preventing the second death of the city, the death of its mind. The Bethnal Green Library had been hit by a bomb, its roof peeled back like a tin can. Most of the books were moved to a deep, unfinished tube station that had been converted into a massive air raid shelter for 5,000 people. It was a subterranean city of bunks, tea stalls, and the constant, heavy tremor of the world above being torn apart. "You're wasting your strength, Charlotte," the shelter warden told her, watching her haul crates of books down 3 flights of stairs. "People want blankets and gas masks, not poetry." Charlotte didn't answer. She set up a makeshift desk in a corner near the ventilation shafts. She organized the books by touch in the dim, flickering light. That first night, as the sirens wailed and the crump-crump of the high explosives began, a young girl named Rose sat on a bunk, her face streaked with soot and tears. She had lost her home that evening. All she had left was the clothes on her back and a ragged teddy bear. Charlotte walked over and handed her a battered copy of Alice in Wonderland. "I can't read very well in the dark," Rose whispered. "Then I'll read to you," Charlotte said. She sat on the edge of the bunk. As the ceiling of the tunnel groaned and dust fell like gray snow from the vibrations, Charlotte began to read. Her voice was a steady, rhythmic contrast to the chaotic thunder above. Soon a few more children gathered, and an old man, then a group of weary factory workers. For an hour, the tube station wasn't a damp, crowded hole in the ground. It was a rabbit hole. It was a forest. It was a place where logic didn't apply, and where a small girl could grow tall enough to reach the sky. Charlotte didn't stop that night. For the next 5 years, she ran the subterranean library. She organized reading circles, taught illiterate soldiers to write letters home, and even held poetry slams to drown out the sound of the V-1 flying bombs. She became a literary doctor, prescribing adventure stories for the fearful, philosophy for the cynical, and romance for the lonely. When the war ended in 1945, Charlotte emerged from the underground. Her skin was pale from years of living in the shadows, and her eyes were tired. But as the people of Bethnal Green began to rebuild their houses, they brought back the books. Thousands of books were returned, many with tea stains, some with scorched edges, but all of them intact. Charlotte stood in the ruins of her old library and realized that while the bombs had destroyed the brick and mortar, the stories had acted as a second skeleton for the people. They had held the city up when the steel girders failed. She picked up a book, wiped the dust from the cover, and placed it on a newly built shelf. "Next," she said with a tired, triumphant smile, as a line of people formed at her desk, ready to start the long process of reading themselves back into a world of peace.